Across the vast and sun-scorched deserts of the ancient world, a new power was stirring. Imagine the first light of dawn catching the glint of 10,000 spear points. An army on the march, forever changing the landscape before them. This was the birth of the Persian Empire, a civilization that would rise from a collection of nomadic tribes to command one of the largest territories the world had ever known. Long ago, the land was a patchwork of smaller kingdoms, rival clans, each vying for dominance in a harsh and unforgiving environment. It was a world waiting for a leader, a unifier. The people of Parsa were hardy and resilient, shaped by rugged mountains and arid plains they called home. They were skilled horsemen and archers, their lives intertwined with the rhythm of the seasons and the constant need for survival. Yet, within these scattered groups lay a potential for greatness, a quiet strength that had not yet been fully awakened. Their story was not yet written in the grand annals of history, but the stage was being set for a dramatic and swift ascent. The world of the ancient Near East, dominated by powerful states like Babylon, Lydia Egypt was soon to face a challenger unlike any it had seen before, one that would redefine the very concept of empire. This period of quiet beginnings would not last long. The winds of change were blowing across the Iranian plateau, carrying with them whispers of a new leader, a man of vision and extraordinary ambition. The disparate Persian tribes were slowly being drawn together, their individual strengths forged into a collective force under a single banner. The old ways were giving way to a new order, built on loyalty, military prowess, a shared destiny. The world watched, perhaps with little concern at first, as this nascent power began to consolidate its strength on the fringes of the great civilizations, unaware that it was witnessing the dawn of an empire. The initial steps were small but decisive. Local chieftains were subdued, neighboring territories were absorbed, a sense of shared identity began to grow among the Persian people. This was not just a campaign of conquest, it was the construction of a nation from the ground up. The foundations were being laid for an administrative machine and a military machine that would soon roll across the continent, powered by the will of a king who saw a future far beyond the borders of his ancestral homeland. The sun was rising on Persia, and its light would soon cast a long shadow over the entire known world. Out of this crucible of rising ambition emerged a figure destined for legend: Cyrus the Great. He was not merely a warrior, he was a statesman of remarkable wisdom and foresight. A leader who understood true power was built not on fear, tolerance. Cyrus united the Persian tribes. He then turned his gaze outward. He began a series of brilliant military campaigns that brought mighty kingdoms to their knees. He did not seek to obliterate those he conquered. Instead, he offered them a place within his growing empire, allowing them to retain their local customs, allowing them to retain their religious practices. This made him a liberator to many, not just a conqueror. The defining moment came with the fall of Babylon in 539 BC. Babylon, famed for its impenetrable walls, hanging gardens, immense wealth, a direct assault would have been costly and perhaps futile. Instead, Cyrus devised an ingenious plan. Under cover of darkness, his engineers diverted the Euphrates, engineers lowering the water level. Then his soldiers waded through the riverbed at night and entered the city. They took the metropolis by surprise with minimal bloodshed. Babylon fell to strategic genius, not brute force. After victory, Cyrus issued a decree that echoed through history. He declared all captive peoples in Babylon free to return home. He ordered sacred artifacts returned to their temples. For the Jewish exiles, this brought profound joy and relief. They journeyed back to Jerusalem to rebuild the Second Temple. This policy of benevolence became a cornerstone of Persian stability. By respecting diverse cultures and beliefs, Cyrus bound his realm by loyalty, not force. He knew a peaceful, prosperous populace is easier to govern than an oppressed one. The Persian kings who followed Cyrus, like Darius and Xerxes, embarked on ambitious projects. They built the grand ceremonial capital of Persepolis, a masterpiece of Achaemenid architecture. To manage their vast territories, they constructed the Royal Road, an engineering marvel stretching over 1,600 miles. With posting stations and fresh horses, a royal messenger could traverse its length in as little as 7 days, a speed unheard of in the ancient world. This rapid communication network was the empire's central nervous system. The military might that defended this splendor was legendary, centered around the elite heavy infantry known as the Immortals. Their number was always maintained at exactly 10,000. If a soldier fell, he was immediately replaced, creating the illusion of an invincible, undying army. The administration was just as sophisticated. The realm was divided into provinces, or satrapies, each governed by a satrap. To ensure loyalty, the king also appointed military commanders and a network of spies, known as the King's Eyes and Ears, to report directly back to him. This system fostered the Pax Persica, or Persian peace, allowing trade and ideas to flourish across the continent. But no empire is eternal. By the 4th century BC, internal strife and a series of weaker rulers began to erode the foundations of Persian power. The empire that had once seemed invincible was becoming vulnerable. It was at this moment that a new force arose from the west, a young and brilliant commander from Macedonia named Alexander the Great. In a series of decisive battles, Granicus, Issus, and Gaugamela, he shattered the Persian forces, outmaneuvering the last Persian king, Darius III. The conquest was swift. The great cities of Babylon, Susa, and Persepolis fell. In a final tragic act, the magnificent palace at Persepolis was burned, a symbolic end to 2 centuries of Persian dominance. Alexander's conquest initiated a new Hellenistic era, blending Greek and Near Eastern traditions. The age of Achaemenid glory had come to a stunning and dramatic close.